This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
They're at the top of the lane. Sir Samson in the white blinkers. Jazzy Josh between them. Serbian Cyclone at the rail. Texas Red in the red cap is running on late on the outside. Lord Nelson, even a late run from Bench Warrant. It's wide open. Texas Red now getting into stride. Texas Red on the inside coming like an express train. Texas Red, Lord Nelson, Lord Nelson. Lord Nelson's going to keep you at bay. Lord Nelson beat Texas Red.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Down the Stretch. I'm Mark Cassano. On this morning's show, in our 3-year-old segment, we will review a trio of stakes as well as an impressive allowance win. We'll take a look at 3 more stakes to the internal breaks, and we'll welcome in a trio of special guests, beginning with a first-timer to the program, and she's got just a fun story. Lily Curtinez, whose own Manchurian High goes after this afternoon's Grade 1 Gulfstream Turf. And then in the Battle of San Antonio, we have Generals Jerry Hollendorfer and Art Sherman, the trainers of Shared Belief and California Chrome, respectively. So all of that and much, much more if you stay with us for this, our February 7th edition of the program, which is being sponsored by Gulfstream Park, where today's feature is the Don Handicap, which is part of a special cross-country Pick 4. Gulfstream Park champions start here. Once again, good morning, welcome. I guess this is the calm before the storm. As I took a look at my, I have the National Weather Service on my computer, and it looks like it's going to snow from now until April. So settle in, relax. We're going to have some fun on this morning preceding a terrific day of racing from coast to coast. All right, busy show. Let's get started. We begin with word of Calculator, who broke his maiden when he won the Sham Stakes in last. He is off the Triple Crown Trail with an injury. Following a workout last Saturday, trainer Peter Miller said that the colt was, and I'm quoting, off. And while not giving any other details on the injury, stated that Calculator would be sidelined for approximately the first half of the year. Now, despite being a maiden at the time, Calculator had finished second twice behind champion American Pharoah, who had his first workout since last October, this past Monday. Scratch from the Breeders' Cup Juvenile with a reported foot bruise. American Pharoah breezed 3/8 in 36-1 at Santa Anita. His trainer, Bob Baffert, is pointing for a March return for the talented colt in either the March 7th San Felipe or the March 14th Rebel at Oaklawn Park. Now, as I mentioned earlier, today is Don Handicap Day at Gulfstream, and one horse who was originally pointing for the Don Handicap but who did not make the race is Cigar Street. He injured a knee and will be out for at least several months. Unfortunately, he has been injury prone throughout his career. Cigar Street finished 7th in last year's Breeders' Cup Classic, which was actually the best finish of any of the older horses in a race where the 3-year-olds finished in the top 6 spots. And finally, the Maryland Jockey Club has banned trainers Hector Garcia and Juan Vasquez, who is shown here. They will no longer be able to race or stable at Pimlico and Laurel. Garcia was recently hit with 4 medication violations, a grand slam, and suspended for 13 months. Garcia had taken over the stable of Vasquez last November when Vasquez was suspended for 90 days. There's a pool going on in Maryland as to where these gentlemen will resurface, and Pennsylvania is the favorite at present. All right, our 3-year-old segment, we've got 4 races to take a look back at, beginning with the San Vicente. It marked the return of Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner Texas Red. He is number 4 in here. He is the 7-10 favorite. Number 1, Lord Nelson, a major disappointment in the Kentucky Jockey Club, but unbeaten sprinting was the 19-10 second choice. How ready would Texas Red be? Well, we're going to take a look. And the call of the San Vicente with Trevor Denman.
And away they go. Sir Samson breaks smoothly from the outside gate. Serbian Cyclones out fast along the inside. Jazzy Josh goes up between those two to get second. Lord Nelson at the rail, a close-up fourth. Then we come back to Bench Warrant. Texas Red, content to lag at the back early on, gives them 6-length start. They run past the 5/8, and Serbian Cyclone is the leader up alongside Jazzy Josh. On the far side is Sir Samson, and Lord Nelson tucked in at the rail. 2 lengths covers those 4. Then it's another 2.5 back to Bench Warren, and still at the back is Texas Red. He's got 6 to make up. Into the turn they go, and Serbian Cyclone continues to show the way. Jazzy Josh turning the pressure on, and Sir Samson on the far side. Those 3 go to the quarter pole together. Lord Nelson now has 4 lengths to make up, and let's see, Texas Red been asked to pick it up now. Texas Red is on the move, still 5 off the leaders. Bench Warrant alongside of them. They're at the top of the lane. Sir Samson in the white blinkers, Jazzy Josh between them, Serbian Cyclone at the rail. Texas Red in the red cap is running on late on the outside. Lord Nelson, even a late run from Bench Warrant. It's wide open. Texas Red now getting into stride. Texas Red on the inside, coming like an express train. Texas Red, Lord Nelson, Lord Nelson. Lord Nelson's going to keep you at bay. Lord Nelson beat Texas Red.
Lord Nelson, Bob Baffert, Rafael Bejarano on the outside, outgames a comebacking Texas Red by a neck to win the San Vicente with the 7 furlongs going in 1:22.15. So, how can we tell what kind of a return this was for Texas Red? Well, in my opinion, we'll just have to wait for his next race to see what he got out of this. While I don't believe Lord Nelson to be a monster, he has proven himself to be a very solid sprinter, having gone 2 for 2 prior to the San Vicente in 1-turn races. He was also in receipt of 5 pounds, which, while I don't make too much out of that, it certainly didn't hurt him. Texas Red, on the other hand, had been 0 for 2 in previous sprints. And as his trainer Keith DeSormo told us on last week's show, while he was a little more advanced than DeSormo had originally planned to have him, he was by no means wound tight. He appeared to have dead aim on Lord Nelson through the deep stretch and just didn't have enough. Again, we really won't know how good his San Vicente effort is until he returns for his next start, which will either come in the February 21st Risen Star, 2 weeks at the fairgrounds, or if Keith DeSormo feels that the colt needs more time, he will wait for the March 7th San Felipe. Next up, the Sam Davis at Tampa Bay Downs and the 8-5 favorite, number 11 Ocean Knight. Now, they were asking a lot of this one-time starter. He was stretching out from 3/4 to 1 1/16. He needed to overcome a difficult outside post over a track, I think this is very fair to say, Tampa Bay Downs can be extremely quirky. Now, the co-second choices at 7-2 were number 1 Catalina Red, stretching out off a pair of sprint stakes wins, and number 9 My Johnny B. Good, who absolutely destroyed an entry-level allowance sprint and last. Now, beware of something as you watch and listen to the Sam Davis. Ocean Knight is number 11. He will be stalking wide in the Stone Street yellow and maroon colors. The track announcer for most of the race is going to refer to him as another horse, but Ocean Knight is number 11. For the call of the Sam Davis, here's Rich
And And they're off and running to a perfect start in the 35th running of the Sam Davis, and Catalina Red wins the break. There goes Divining Rod now moving up. Amy's Flatter up on the outside. Ocean Knight looks to cross over, and the last horse away is the late running Bandages. A compact field around the first turn. Catalina Red is there toward the rail. Up on the outside, Divining Rod is there to challenge, and Royal Sun skims the rail now to be third. Right there between horses, Amy's Flatter racing along fourth. Might Johnny Be Good, 3 wide and racing along fifth. Then we go back to Ocean Knight on the outside, sixth. A length farther back, Crittenden is there toward the rail. Up on the outside is Bear's Personality. Then it's 3 lengths farther back to Brother Bobo, and the trailer is Bandages. As they make their way to the far turn, long shot Divining Rod at 28-1 has the lead. My Johnny Be Good moves up in a good spot second. Catalina Red is now being knuckled on toward the rail and being passed third. Up on the outside, G5 is now on the move for it. Then it's 2.5 lengths farther back. Amy's Flatter is coming under ride fifth. Bear's Personality is on the outside sixth. Crittenden is now racing along seventh with a 1/4 mile to run, and now they line up 3 across the track. Divining Rod is still there toward the rail. My Johnny Be Good, and Gallardo sets him down for the drive second. Here's G5 way out in the center of the racetrack, and there's inside a 1/16 of a mile to run in the Sam Davis. Down along the inner rail is Divining Rod and Ocean Knight on the outside. Ocean Knight on the outside. Divining Rod heads apart. Ocean Knight gets the nod and remains undefeated.
Ocean Knight, Kieran Irad-Ortiz Jr., despite being very wide early, shows maturity beyond his experience level by overcoming adversity to run down the game long shot Divining Rod by a neck to capture the Sam Davis. It was 5 lengths back to My Johnny Be Good, who appeared to have no excuse while weakening through the lane to finish third. Now, unlike several of his fellow 3-year-olds who had been impressive debut winners in New York, only to come to South Florida and disappoint, Ocean Knight was able to overcome the stretch out from 6 to 8.5 furlongs, a wide trip, a somewhat quirky racetrack, and a lack of experience. And even though Divining Rod may not develop into a top-flight 3-year-old, he ran his eyeballs out while not allowing anyone else to get close to him. It appears that Ocean Knight, who presently has no Kentucky Derby points, will return for the March 7th Tampa Bay Derby, where 50 Derby points await the winner. But, you know, I was all in all pretty impressed by that performance. It's not easy off one race where you dominate at 3/4, you know, to go 8.5 furlongs. And even though it may not have been against any world beaters, I thought that was a very, very fine effort from Ocean Knight. Next up, the 96 Rock Stakes on the synthetic at Turfway. It saw the Great War number 6 absolutely romp. A very respectable 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in his first and only career start on dirt and last. The Great War stalked second choice Serious Talk through Sprinter's Fractions before drawing away, without much urging, by 7 1/4. Now, he didn't beat anything in here, but it's a little unusual for European imports to show this much natural early speed. The Great War, a $1 million son of Warfront, is trained by Wesley Ward, who did say that in all likelihood he will keep the colt at Turfway to use their series of prep races, I guess for a number of reasons. It's a steady stretch out in distance. He wants to see how far this colt will go, and he wants to keep him in the cooler weather. Whether or not he wants to go much farther, I thought that was a pretty impressive performance from the Great War. And finally in this segment, a 3-year-old allowance race, January 30th at Santa Anita. Watch number 1, Prospect Park, 4th on the fence as we pick it up. This is a son of Tappet, who had made steady, albeit unspectacular progress over his first 4 races. In his 4th career start in last, Prospect Park showed good early speed and late gameness to finally break his maiden by a neck. It was a nice effort, but certainly not one which would be considered a special performance. This one might be. After patiently waiting in behind horses while taking dirt, Prospect Park finally found room to run in the lane and figuratively exploded. This appeared to be an okay allowance group. Now, maybe it'll turn out that it wasn't. Maybe it'll turn out that there were poorer, but it appeared on paper to be pretty good. Either way, I thought this was a pretty special performance from Prospect Park, who won under wraps by an expanding 5 1/4. The thing that makes this so interesting to me, young 3-year-olds at this time of year can improve in leaps and bounds. I mean, when the light bulb goes on in their head, interesting things can happen. A stakes race will be next for Prospect Park, possibly the March 7th San Felipe. And we are up to our first break on this February 7th edition of the program. Thank you so much for having joined us. When we return, Lily Curtinez, as we go to this break, the Martha Washington at Oaklawn. 3-year-old debut of the champ, Take Charge Brandy. She is number 6 in here, and she is the 2-5 favorite. So we will take a look at the Martha Washington to the break. Back with Lily Curtinez right after these messages.
In the gate. And they're off. Take Charge Brandy breaks out very smoothly. Sweet Karina, Perfect Fit moving through on the inside. High Dollar Woman comes away in 4th. Indian Annie and Sarah Sis, who was off just a step slow, is now going to have to go wide into the turn. It's Take Charge Brandy, joined at the rail by Perfect Fit, 3/4 back 2nd. Sweet Karina on the outside 3rd. Indian Annie in hand 4th, about 3.5 lengths off the heavy favorite. Sarah Sis inches up outside of her, and High Dollar Woman's at the back. 5 lengths covers the field. John Court has Take Charge Brandy in control, just bounding along comfortably with Sweet Karina and Perfect Fit stride for stride 2nd and 3rd. Indian Annie 4th with 3 to make up. Outside of her comes Sarah Sis and High Dollar Woman. Take Charge Brandy breezing along, about 3/8 of a mile to run. Perfect Fit at the rails. Sweet Karina outside of her now moves into 2nd. Indian Annie and Sarah Sis moving in tandem. Sarah Sis, orange colors 4 wide. Indian Annie just inside of her. Those two take 2nd and 3rd. Perfect Fit, Sweet Karina backing up. High Dollar Woman is far back. Take Charge Brandy still doing it very nicely up top. Shakes loose at the top of the stretch to lead by 2. Sarah Sis clearly 2nd. Indian Annie's in 3rd. They're in the final furlong, and Take Charge Brandy is in complete command. Sarah Sis switches to the inside to take another run at her, and she's coming very gamely too. Take Charge Brandy, Sarah Sis making it interesting, but Take Charge Brandy prevails. Sarah Sis, giant in defeat. 3rd went to Indian Annie.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
There's nothing like the thrill and excitement of horse racing. And now, the new home for all the best racing and all the top tracks is OTB TV on Time Warner Cable Channel 1250, delivering each day the best racing across the country and around the world, whether it's Saratoga or Belmont here in New York, Florida's Gulfstream Park, or California's Del Mar and Santa Anita race courses. No other network brings you the grandeur of horse racing like OTB TV on Time Warner Cable Channel 1250.
Face it, most horse racing websites are just too much clutter, too much to navigate through. Next time, log on to capitalotb.com. Our newly designed website is easier than ever to use, with all the information the professional horse player needs. capitalotb.com.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano, and Take Charge Brandy for Wayne Lucas and John Court holds on by a neck. It wasn't the prettiest, but it was her 4th victory in a row, holding off Sarah Sis to win the Martha Washington. All right, our first guest this morning, I've been looking forward to having this young lady on because I think She has a terrific story. Her private purchase, Manchurian High, will be going later this afternoon in the Grade 1 Gulfstream Park Turf. We welcome in live via telephone from sunny and warm South Florida, Lily Curtinez. Lily, Marcasano welcoming you to Down the Stretch.
Hello.
It's very nice to have you, Lily. As a first-timer to the program, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, if you would.
I'm 29, I guess. From Maryland, started there. Let's see. Started working for JB Seaport. Actually, I was pony racing, and how I met JB and how I got into all of this was I was getting too old for pony racing, so I went to try out a horse to move up the levels, and the horse tried to run away and kill me, and he said, "Oh, kid, you can ride. You want to learn how to gallop?" And that was the end of my story. That was how I got stuck into the horse racing, and I never left it. I train a little bit of flat horses and steeplechase. I like actually doing both with them, and that's about it. And I've been doing it. I guess JB actually even gave me my first earners, and I went on my own. I guess I was about 23 or 24. I usually just take people's outcasts and try to make them better and run them over jumps and then back on the flat, but this is the first horse I've actually spent this much money on, and saved me back, thankfully.
Well, let's talk about your purchase of Manchurian High. First of all, when did you buy them?
February last year.
And as I understand it, you spent much of or most of your savings buying them.
Yeah, I actually had to ask my parents to put up half. I don't even know. They're not really into the horses at all, and I just came home and I gave them the spiel, and I promise I can make you this much money back. And my stepfather's really big into investing, and then he said, "Give me a day. I'm actually kind of interested." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And the next day he said, "All right, we're gonna go ahead and gamble. We'll do it." And I said, "All right, well, geez, now I gotta see if he's even for sale, if they'll even sell them." And I mean, he wasn't really. I mean, he was second, third. He's always consistent, always tries, but he just wasn't, I guess, what they wanted. So they said, "Sure." So they sold him, and then I got him, and I was like, "Oh man, what did I get myself into?" But it paid off very well, and it took about 3 or 4 months for him to start coming around, but he really did.
Now, Lily, did you originally buy him to strictly have him continue to race, or were you looking at another potential career for Manchurian High?
No, I bought him to do jump racing. I thought he would be amazing over hurdles because he just has that great galloping speed, and I had him before. JB had sent me Manchurian High to train for him before, so I knew he was pure athlete. So I bought him actually run over jumps, but I usually do both with all my horses, and his platform was kind of came back to life, so we never actually went to the jumps. But he schools over hurdles. I mean, he was ready. That was what he was going to do. But after he won at Pimlico, I said, "Well, I guess we'll try a few more flat races before we jump."
Well, things have turned out awfully well, because that original, approximate $20,000 investment has returned about $193,000 and counting up to this point. You've won a couple of stakes with them. We're going to take a look at the final stages of the Laurel Turf Cup. For our audience, he is number 13, rallying on the far outside in the dark silks. Lily, talk about this performance, if you would.
Well, Sheldon Russell, I love. I actually called him a few times to come down and ride him here. Sheldon rides him great. He usually hangs out the back, and it just, I didn't even think he got it. It was Mr. Everybody's like, "You want?" I'm like, "No, wait till the shoulder comes up." I don't think he got up. And that was great. And I had actually trained him before he went into the Turf Cup before, but it was under JB's name because I didn't really have him fully. But I know he loves the distance, and he runs the same race no matter what distance he goes. But I mean, he just hangs out the back. But once he comes around the turn, I mean, he just ignites. So he usually leaves it for a nail biter and leaves it thrilling.
Well, you almost won with him here in Saratoga in the John's Call, but the Laurel Turf Cup was your first ever stakes win. That had to be a thrill.
Oh, amazing every time. And it actually, when he won down here, the Sunshine Millions, I think it took me about 3 days. I was exhausted 3 days after. I'm like, wow, I didn't know adrenaline rushes could take so much out of you. No, it's amazing every time. I mean, it just makes, I'm proud of him. So, it is exciting, 100%. I don't think there's words in the dictionary that can describe the feeling when they come across the wire first.
Well, following a respectable third in the McKnight, Manchurian High stormed to victory in the Sunshine Millions turf. For our audience, he is number 7, 7th at the far outside as we pick it up around the far turn. Lily, talk about this effort, if you would.
Well, I was scared that he was number 7 to start. I'm superstitious. I guess it just kind of comes with racing. He was number 7 3 times prior, and he was 3rd every time he was number 7. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I was like, great, we're going to run 3rd. And then the McKnight, and then he, oh no, wait, what am I? I'm talking about Sunshine Millions. I'm getting confused. But then he came, and Louis, this was the second time Louis said won him for the Sunshine Millions, and I told him again, I said, just get him going a little bit before the half, because it takes him a minute to kick into gear. And I mean, he just gave him a beautiful ride, and I didn't expect, I thought it was going to be a typical nail biter, and he just exploded. So he couldn't even pull him up. He almost went halfway back around the track before he could even pull him up. So that was amazing.
Now, I read immediately following the Sunshine Millions turf victory, you were considering the 2-mile Alan Jerkins Overnight Stakes, which was last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you change your mind? I mean, there's a big between an overnight stakes and this afternoon's Grade 1 Gulfstream Turf Handicap.
Well, I was just talking to the stakes coordinator a little bit. I mean, 2 weeks was a little quick. I would love to go 2 miles, but I mean, he was just walking on the time feet. He came out of the race more powerful. He was eating amazingly. He was just a feast. And I was talking to the stakes coordinator, and he said, you know, it's actually coming up. There's really nice horses in this race, but for a Grade 1, it's considerably, it's looking light right now. And if your horse is doing so well, you ever want to, because I was like, well, he's a stakes horse. I don't think he's quite as great a stakes horse. I think he's going to be a great stakes horse. And so I just talking and just looking at the horse and the way he was acting, I said, I guess if I ever am going to attempt the grade at stakes, it didn't have to be a Grade 1, but it ended up the timing and the way he was acting. So I said, all right, we'll skip the 2 miles and Grade 1 it is.
So how is he doing coming into this afternoon's Gulfstream Park Turf?
Beautifully. This is, and everybody keeps asking me, and I said, I guess this is what a stakes horse feels like. I guess I've never had one.
Yeah.
But it's a different world from the cheap claimers and a stakes horse. But I mean, I treat him the same way as I did the day I got him. But I mean, he's just eating and training and just, he's very content with himself. And I think he's physically and mentally just more powerful and stronger than he's been since I've had him.
Well,
so it will be a test for both of us today.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful. Lily, we're going to end this interview. This is a quote from you. I absolutely love this quote.
Oh, God, I know what it is.
You were asked what Manchurian High meant to you, and you responded, and I quote, I've kissed this horse more than I've kissed any boyfriend I ever dated, end quote. Now, I don't know how good that is for relationships, but I'm pretty sure that none of your past boyfriends could win a couple of stakes. So this horse means that much to you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have many horses, but I do dedicate a lot of my time every day to him. And because I've had him for a year, so you spend that much time with, I mean, any person or animal. I mean, you get attached to them. And when they pay you back like that, you have to respect him. He is the world. But he's a super cool horse. I mean, all around, he's Mr. Personality. He's just fun. He makes every day fun. So he's awesome.
That is wonderful. Well, Lily, all congratulations on all of the successes with Manchurian High. All the best later this afternoon in the Gulfstream Park Turf, and we hope to be speaking with you again very soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Lily. Lily Curtin, ladies and gentlemen, that really is a neat story. All right, we're up to our next break. When we return off to Southern California, where we will welcome Mr. Jerry Hollendorfer as we go to the break, the Grade 1 Las Virgenes, a weak Grade 1. The 2-to-1 favorite, number 2, Maybelline, a non-stakes winner. 2.5-to-1 second choice, number 7, Callback, who had run second in the Grade 2 Santa Ynez in last. So we will take a look at the Las Virgenes to the break. Back with Jerry Hollendorfer right after these messages.
And away they go. Maybelline broke smartly on the inside, but Light the City's very fast, and Callback in the orange cap goes up alongside of them with Suva Harbour. They're all wanting to go for the lead out here, fast early pace. Right behind them comes Me Oh Me in the black colours. Then we drop back to Majestic Presence, Miss Mandate alongside of that. They've been followed by Achiever's Legacy, who's 8 lengths off the leaders, and last of all, Lutine Bell. Onto the backstretch they go, and it's Callback along the inside and Suva Harbour. Those two set the pace. Maybelline tucked in nicely down at the rail alongside Me Oh Me. On the far side, Light the City. Only 2 lengths covers the first 5. Then we come back to Majestic Presence in the white blinkers. Up alongside of that comes Miss Mandate. They've been followed by Achiever's Legacy, and Lutine Bell last. 7 lengths would cover a lot. Less than a half mile to go, and Callback is still the leader now, being sent along as Suva Harbour. Light the City on the far side coming to tackle. Light the City moving in the gold cap. Maybelline at the rail needs somewhere to run. Up alongside of that we have Majestic Presence in there as well. They come to the quarter pole, and Callback kicks for home. Callback's gone early for home now. Light the City still looms dangerous on the outside of that. Extreme outside, Miss Mandate comes with her run now as well. Miss Mandate in with a shot, and Majestic Presence behind that. Down the centre, Achiever's Legacy with a late run. It's Callback holding on. Callback, Light the City. Light the City coming fast. Callback, Light the City in a thriller. It's going to be Callback to hold on. Callback held on to it. Callback beat Light the City. Achiever's Legacy third. Majestic Presence was fourth.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today. Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano. My thanks to Lily Curtinez once again for having joined us. And callback for Bob Baffert and Martine Garcia. Wins her first ever stakes by a half length over Light the City and Achiever's Legacy in the Grade 1 Las Virgenes. Our next guest will be starting the outstanding 4-year-old Shared Belief later today in the Battle of San Antonio. We welcome in live via telephone from Southern California, Mr. Jerry Hollendorfer. Jerry, Marcasano welcoming you back to the show.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody.
Always nice to have you, Jerry. Now, we haven't had you on the show since before the Breeders' Cup. So I want to take you and the audience back to the start of the Breeders' Cup Classic. For our audience, Shared Belief will be number 6 in the video, and of course he started favored. Jerry, give us your thoughts on the Breeders' Cup Classic, the start of the race, and how you feel it impacted Shared Belief.
Well, I mean, the impact was, I think, was obvious. You know, I can't recall just what happened, but we got bumped pretty hard coming out of there.
I mean, you got bumped a couple of times, not only by Byron, but by Toast of New York as well. Jerry, did you ever talk to the stewards about the situation?
No, not any of my people ever talked to the stewards, or nobody in my camp ever talked to them, ever.
What did your rider, Mike Smith, have to say to you after the race? What did he feel the start? How did he feel it impacted Shared Belief?
Well, I don't know. When I talked to him, he said he can't understand why people keep doing that to him. So, I thought, actually, I thought that somebody was going to come down, whoever caused problems in there. But I mean, that in the end, that didn't actually happen.
Well, following the Breeders' Cup, Shared Belief bounced back with a win in the Malibu. We are about to take a look at it. For our audience, Shared Belief is number 8 in here. Jerry, he had run 10 furlongs, 9 furlongs, 10 furlongs, and 9 furlongs in his previous 4 races. Now, for some horses, it would be pretty difficult to turn back to 7/8, but not for Shared Belief. Talk about the Malibu effort, if you would.
Well, I've always thought that horses that run in that kind of company, the Shared Beliefs and California Chrome, horses that run against good quality horses like that, I always feel that most of them can run short and long, because good horses, they have speed and they can carry it. So, we haven't been showing a lot of speed, but we could if we wanted to, because he laid a lot closer in the Malibu and proved that he could do that. So good horses can do a lot of different things, and they're just special. That's why they run in the graded race.
And he is certainly special, and it's a bit unusual to have a horse win from 3/4 of a mile to 1.25 miles. Jerry, does he have an optimum distance? Does he have a best distance to run?
I don't think so. He's one of these kind of horses that he just does whatever he asks him to do.
Now, we haven't seen him since the day after Christmas in winning the Malibu. How's he been training? How's he doing coming up to this afternoon, San Antonio?
Well, I'm bringing a horse over that's 100%. He looks the part, and he's been training the part. So, I'm quite confident that we're bringing over a horse that's 100%. And I think a lot of the guys are bringing over good horses to run. So we're going to find out what happens in a few hours.
Yeah, this is a fun race. We know, as racing fans, we love to see this kind of confrontation. But we also know that, normally trainers like to find the easiest spots for their horses. So what are your feelings about facing off against Horse of the Year, California Chrome, and Opportunity in this afternoon's San Antonio?
Well, I think that all the guys that entered, I think they're running in a race that's timely to their future aspirations. So this is the race that's coming up for us time-wise, and I think it is also for California Chrome and Opportunity. Where else would he run unless he wanted to jump on the plane and go back and run in the Don? And it's the same kind of money, and you're at home, so you run at home. So that's why all those horses are in there like that.
Unlike the 1.25 miles of the Breeders' Cup Classic, it's 9 furlongs today in the San Antonio. Any particular strategy you'll talk with Mike Smith about with Shared Belief later this afternoon?
I'll probably get with Mike a little bit before the races and just talk to him a little bit, and then we'll talk again, once we get the saddle on the horse. But it's hard to make a real specific plan. We think that certain horses are going to do certain things in there, but as you well know, sometimes that changes, or it's just like, the outside horse looks like he's the speed of the race, but if he doesn't break, then it's up to Mike to make his mind up what he's going to do about that. So I believe it frequently becomes a rider's race, and that's why you ride the riders that you have the most confidence in, because you feel like they can make the right decision if they have to.
I believe you nominated Shared Belief to the $10 million Dubai World Cup. Jerry, at this point, what are the chances he's going to go run there?
Well, I don't know. I think we've talked about it a little bit among the partners, and I don't really think we're that interested in going over there. Frequently horses go over there, and then you have to give them a real long time in between. There are others that like Cigar and Curlin that went over there and then came back and still ran real well. And but I think it takes something out of them. It's a very long trip, and the medication rules are different, and no Lasix and all that kind of thing. So you have to. I don't think it's a trip that you make without thinking about it pretty hard.
That I've never been in the position, but the $10 million, $6 million first prize is obviously quite an enticement.
Well, there are other horses in the world too that are sitting on that race, and they're also very good horses too. So, if you're going to make a trip like that, you got to be sure that you're going to run really well. I'm not saying that we wouldn't run really well, but it's just there's not the interest. There's not the interest from my group to run over there like there are probably some other people. Money has a lot to do with what we do in our business, but it's not everything.
And finally, you also run Tenito M in this afternoon, San Antonio. You've done a wonderful job picking and choosing spots for him. He's won more than $500,000, but he's in pretty deep this afternoon. Why the San Antonio for Tenito M?
Well, we talked this over with Mickey Gonzalez, his owner, and Mickey always wanted to run in this race. And as you know, many things can happen. So he wants to give his horse a chance to run in that race. And, we didn't deny him because we think he deserves a chance.
Well, Jerry, as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch, and all the best later on in a wonderful renewal of the San Antonio with both Shared Belief and Tenito M.
Well, all the guys are looking to put on a good show, so we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. Jerry Hollendorfer, ladies and gentlemen, the trainer of Shared Belief, and we are up to our final break. When we return, Mr. Art Sherman will join us as we go to the break. The Palos Verdes from Santa Anita. That used to be my favorite vacation destinations. My wife and I had friends who lived there, and when it's 72 there and minus 11 here, you grow to like it very much. The Palos Verdes wide open on paper. 2-1 favorite number 1, Distinctive Passion. 2-1 second choice, number 4, Secret Circle. So we'll take a look at the Palos Verdes to the break. Back with Art Sherman right after these messages.
And away they go to a perfect start. Secret Circle very fast in the red colors. Distinctive Passion coming quickly at the rail, and Big Marker between them. Those three now hook up and they fly away early. They're all in a speed duel up front. It's a big gap of 5 back to Conquest. 2-step, content to let that other trio go on with it. Behind that comes Wild Dude and then Chief Lion. Past a half mile they go, and Distinctive Passion now has a length advantage. Secret Circle far side. Big Marker having to be sent along to stay up. Still 5 back to Conquest. 2-step, who's travelling nicely though. He'll come running late. In behind that we have Chief Lion and Wild Dude. They are coming to the top of the lane now, and Distinctive Passion, Secret Circle. And now here comes Conquest. 2-step taking the 3rd spot. Big Marker didn't fire today. Wild Dude trying to run on late. Top of the lane, Secret Circle, Distinctive Passion. Conquest 2-step on the outside, and now here's Wild Dude with a late run. They come for home. Conquest 2-step, Secret Circle. Conquest 2-step takes the advantage. Conquest Two-Step to win a big one today. Conquest Two-Step gives Joe Talamo his third. They win it almost a length. Secret Circle second, then Wild Dude, Distinctive Passion, Big Marker, and Chief Lion.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
The road to the Kentucky Derby ends with the most exciting 2 minutes in racing, but getting there begins long before then. With 34 prep races that span 15 tracks, the best place to watch, wager, and win is Capital OTB and OTB TV. Upcoming Derby prep races include, on February 21st, the Risen Star from the Fairgrounds and the Fountain of Youth from Gulfstream Park. So for in-depth coverage and expert analysis of all the Derby prep races, stay with Capital OTB and OTB TV.
Think you know how to handicap? Well, here's your chance to prove it. February 22nd at the Clubhouse Racebook, it's the Live Money Handicapping Contest. Your chance to go up against other race fans, test your handicapping skills, and share in the day's prize pool. You'll be betting on 6 races from Aqueduct with win and place wagers, but you must be registered before the first contest race goes off. So if you think you're the best handicapper in the room, we'll see you February 22nd at the Clubhouse Racebook for the Live Money Handicapping Contest.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Cassano. My thanks to Jerry Hollendorfer once again for having joined us. In Conquest Two-Step, Mark Casse, Joe Talamo, a surprisingly good second behind Shared Belief in the Malibu, wins the Palos Verdes by a length and a quarter over Secret Circle. Our final guest this morning. Well, it's been just about a year since we first had him on the show. And what a year it's been. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back the trainer of the champion 3-year-old and the 2014 Horse of the Year, California Chrome, Mr. Art Sherman. Art, Mark Cassano welcoming you back to Down the Stretch.
Oh, good morning. How's everything?
Well,
how's all my buddies in New York?
Well, you know, it's 13 degrees and it's going to snow for the next 4 days.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you it was almost 80 here.
Oh,
we got a little overcast today. Though.
Yeah, I feel bad for you, Art.
I know. It's tough. It's tough.
When you pause and you sit back and take a look at what's happened over the last year, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just, to me, it's like a dream. You start off the year thinking, well, you got a decent 3-year-old and a lot of good 3-year-old races. Then finally, at the end of the year, you win the Eclipse Award for the best horse of the year. It's I can't even describe it. It was just overwhelming for me.
Well, let me take you back to Eclipse Night for a moment. And first, the announcement of the champion 3-year-old male, California Chrome. Your thoughts? What emotions went through you?
Well, I was so happy, and I started to go off the stage after I got the 3-year-old, and I knew the Horse of the Year was coming up. The next representative was going to compete for the Horse of the Year. So I was getting ready to go back to my seat, and the gal said, why don't you just stay right here on the side? And I said, wow, I wonder why she's saying that. You know what I mean? And I had no idea I made it the Horse of the Year, but I was really delighted, I can tell you. It was quite a thrill for me,
Well, it was quite a ride from winning races like the King Glorious and the Cal Cup Derby to Horse of the Year. All congratulations to you and your staff on a great 2014. Now, last time we had you on the show, Art, it was Breeders' Cup morning. And we're about to watch the last half mile of the Breeders' Cup Classic for our audience. California Chrome, number 13. He'll be third on the outside. Your thoughts on this effort in the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Well, I really thought I hadn't had my horse tight as I wanted him to. I didn't get enough out of the race at the park. you know, when I run him back east. And I was hoping that, you know, I would have a stronger horse, you know, going into the race. He trained good, and he ran big. He only got beat a neck, you know, but I knew he wasn't the chrome that I would like to have him, you know, and that's why I run him in the Hollywood Derby when I had a chance to, because he came out of that race so sharp and feeling good, you know, and he's turned into, I'll tell you, a super nice-looking horse.
Well, Art, it's interesting because, you know, that morning on the show, you expressed concern. I asked you the question straight up, do you think he got enough out of the Pennsylvania Derby? And now, in retrospect, you're pretty much convinced he didn't.
No, I didn't. He didn't have the trip I wanted to and never got a chance to run. You know what I mean? I wanted a strong race out of him. You know, even if he got beat, I just wanted where he had room to run, and he never had it. He kept, you know, having to check him in. Excuse me.
Well, the Hollywood Derby was next. He obviously moved forward from the Classic to the Hollywood Derby. As we pick it up for our audience, he'll be stalking in second. Art, you were confident that he was going to handle the grass well, and handle it he did.
Well, just the way he's poetry in motion for a grass horse, you know. He don't lift his feet up high. He's not a high stepper. He's right low to the ground, and just the way he moves, I just always had this gut feeling he'd be a great grass horse. And, you know, there's so many more options if you can run on the grass, you know, and he showed that, you know, he kind of relished the grass, to be honest with you.
So how might this effort in the Hollywood Derby affect what you do with him later this year?
Well, you know, we're just going race by race. One of the owners wants to go to Dubai with him, you know what I mean? And you know, you always have mixed emotions, you know. I've never been there, but they say it's very nice, you know, but it's still shipping you a horse, 16-hour plane ride, and you know, being over there and quarantined for a couple days. And, you know, I know he's a very popular horse all over the country, you know, and everybody wants to have him at their track, you know. He really draws the people. There'll be only standing room only today in Santa Anita. He just brings out the people like you can't believe.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so I just think that, you know, I prefer to stay in the United States, but I you know, I can understand for a $10 million race, you got to take a shot. You know?
You said one of his owners wants to go to Dubai. We know he has two owners. So at this point, Art, and obviously he's got to run this afternoon, run well, come out of the race well.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
at this point, what do you think the chances of going to Dubai are?
I think we'll probably definitely go. I think, you know, I'm going to talk to Perry. I'm almost sure it's on the agenda. You know, they've been in touch with me. He said, you know, they said that he'd be favoring the race, you know, but that's beyond, you know, what I'm thinking about. You know, I just worry about my horse coming back in one piece, and he's doing so good. He looks super right now, you know. He grew up, his flesh, he shines like a new penny. You know, I'm just so happy the way he's doing, and I'm so happy that he's going to race in this 4. You know, I think you're going to see a different California Chrome this year. I really do.
You know, in looking at his workout pattern, it appears as though since the Hollywood Derby, things have gone along without a hitch. Is that the case? Is he doing as well as he could be doing coming into the San Antonio?
Oh, I think so. You know, I wanted to have a little sharper blowout before that race. I mean, for the San Antonio, but Victor's always a little bit overcautious about working him. He thinks he's going to go too fast, so he always goes a little on the slower side for me. You know what I mean? I said, well, let's go in a minute. And he went 101. So he missed it like 5 places, you know. But the horse on the gallop out went in 11-3, galloping out 3/4. So I said, wow, look at this horse. You know what I mean? He's just a handful right now, and he looks just excellent. So I'm not making any excuses. I think he'll be double tough today.
And you got to be pleased with the post, even though the one horse drawn outside of you appears to have a lot of natural speed. Overall, you got to be pleased with the post position.
Well, I am, and he likes it out there too. You know, that's his favorite spot to run. He likes to be on the outside of horses, and you know, he's a free running horse, and he's going to show some gas himself today. You know, I can just see the way he's acting, jumping out of his skin and feeling good. You know, that he'll come away from there running, you know.
Well, Art, first of all congratulations on the Eclipse Awards, the Horse of the Year. That's absolutely marvelous. What a great 2014 it was. All the best later this afternoon in the San Antonio. And as always, thank you so very much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch.
And say hello to everybody for me.
I will do that. Thank you, Art. Art Sherman, ladies and gentlemen, the conditioner of California Chrome. All right, what a wonderful day of racing from coast to coast. Let's quickly just go over some of the highlights today at Santa Anita. Obviously, the showdown in the San Antonio, California Chrome, Shared Belief, and really the forgotten horse, Opportunity. Now, he's going to have to step forward and run his best, but he is a quality racehorse. Then in the Bob Lewis, for 3-year-olds, the rematch of the Los Alamitos Futurity with Dortmund and Firing Line. I want to tell you, Firing Line, in my opinion, even though he got beat ahead, ran better than Dortmund in the Los Alamitos Futurity. It's going to be interesting to see how they come back this afternoon. Also, the grassy San Marcos. Now at Gulfstream Park, the feature is the Don, where Lee, defending champion in the Don, faces the Todd Pletcher-trained trio of Constitution, Commissioner, and Protonico. That is the last of 13 races on the Gulfstream card. We've got the Gulfstream Park Turf Handicap, where Imagining will be cutting back in distance. The Fred Hooper, where Confrontation will finally get bet, coming off a second behind Lee. The Swanee River, the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint, and a number of interesting maiden races. Here in New York at Aqueduct, the feature is the Withers, where El Kabir has drawn the extreme outside post again. He faces a group of strictly maiden winners. I think Classy Class from Kieran will be the second choice from the rail. Also the Toboggan, where Saludos Amigos possibly prepping for the Dubai Golden Shaheen. At Oaklawn Park, the King Cotton for sprinters is the feature today. And this weekend, Pool 2 of the Kentucky Derby Futures, now through tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. Now, folks, if you like somebody and you like them a lot and you get value, then go ahead and play. The next futures pool will not be until the end of this month, February 27th through March 1st. And there are a number of preps between today and the next pool. Maybe the most important one, the Fountain of Youth. So if you like a horse who's scheduled to go in the Fountain of Youth, and you think that horse is going to run well in the Fountain of Youth, then you want to bet him in this pool. You know, because for instance, the first pool they had, Upstart, who I like very much, it was a very, very good price. But between that pool and today, he won the Holy Bull in a romp. So he's not going to be much of a price in this pool. So there is some strategy involved into playing the Derby Futures pool. All right, time to thank everyone who helped get this week's show on the air. Here at the studios of the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany, our associate producer Julie Hoxie, Dan Hayes, thanks to Mick Richards. Back in the control room in Schenectady, Pat Peretta in his usual director's chair. Dino Contanacci handled audio. Thanks to this morning's guests, Art Sherman, Jerry Hollendorfer, and Lily. We appreciate them, and thanks to our sponsor, Gulfstream Park. Terrific card of racing this afternoon. Gulfstream Park, champions start here. And as always, thank you so very much for having joined us down the stretch. Enjoy all this wonderful racing from coast to coast this weekend here at Capitol. Be careful with this, the forecast. Have a wonderful weekend and a terrific upcoming week. And from all of us here at Down the Stretch, we'll see you next week.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.